Okay, so, ooh, it's actually 4:07. 47 has been coming up a lot. I associate that with the tree of knowledge. I think I associate it to the tree of knowledge. So we're going to talk about the 8-pointed star. I was actually just looking at something that was talking about, the UFO files that got released and things like that, and how one of them appeared looking like an 8-pointed star. So I thought it would be interesting. Now, I did explain in one of my videos, which I'm just doing a whole bunch of videos right now, just kind of like as things are coming to me where I'm redoing certain videos that I've already done and then doing more. But anyways, the whole reason for me like redoing some of them, and I'm just going to leave the other ones up on the internet, but the reason that I'm redoing them is because I want them all to be in one place. I was trying to do like quantifications just for the dreams, Acacia's ascensions for subliminals, and then my channel I wanted to do talking about spirituality and things like that, but it's like a lot to keep up with, like 3 different channels at this point. And at this moment in time on May 8th, I'm not doing like the greatest job of getting anything out at the moment. So I'm like, okay, let me just consolidate and then do that. So, yeah. So that's like the main thing. But anyways, I'm going to redo this because I just saw that. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the 8-pointed star dream. Now, this time period that I had this dream in was July 2020. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It was 2020. July 2020. That whole month was interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have like my dream log from that point in time, which is also like my kind of life blog. It's like a dream log. Child, I'm saying all different type of stuff. Log from that time period. So I can't go like day by day, but the whole month was absolutely insane, honestly. And there were some powerful dreams that I had, of course, throughout that month, and this is one of them. Now, just in general, I am a Capricorn, and that sun is in the 4th house of Cancer. I'm on that 4-10 axis with my North Node in the 4th house. It's a whole thing. Like, I wouldn't pick it again, honestly. I wouldn't. But anyways, I'm just saying that because usually during Cancer and Capricorn season, along with Aries, which I don't have a lot of Aries in my chart, but for whatever reason, I always have the crazy experiences during Capricorn, Cancer, and Aries season. And I guess since Libra is the other cardinal sign, maybe also, and I just haven't picked up on it. But yeah, so I wanted to say that. So it was a crazy month. I mean, for the whole world, obviously. But the dreams were definite, quote unquote dreams. Okay. I'm gonna say that like a few times. I am calling them dreams because that is like a collective term that most people understand when you're talking about it. But anyways, my quote unquote dreams, go into astral travel, remote viewing, they go into astral projecting from quote unquote dream space, but just to keep down on confusion and everything like that, dreams. Okay. So this one was very interesting. It specifically happened on the 1st going into the 2nd. Okay. And I'd gone to bed very frustrated. Okay. Very, very frustrated. I have a child who has a very particular personality, child, very particular. And anyways, I went to sleep frustrated with him. I was just like, what is going on? What is going on in life? Like, I don't understand this. Like, he's a tough cookie, child, okay? And so anyways, I went to sleep with this, and I was just like, I just don't understand what's going on. Like, I need some information. And there was like this kind of build up going on specifically on the spiritual aspect of things. I'd also had this very interesting past life dream with someone that was like going into the Akashic records, and I'd had some dreams about this particular child as well. So it was like a kind of buildup of a lot of things going on. But anyways, this particular night I went to sleep and I was frustrated and I was like, I need answers. And I've definitely found it's very interesting because when I get into time periods like that, and I know a lot of people who also have this as well, and it's not something that you can do with ingredients, like in the sense of like, you know, it's a certain level of I need an answer. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like one that you can like be like, all right, that's it, I'm ready for an answer. There's like this energy that comes with it that's like, absolutely not. I need the answer right now. And I had that energy going to sleep. So I was expecting an answer. Now, the answer that I got was not what I was expecting. And that's why I could not come to a conclusion about it. And that's very interesting about spirituality, you know, just existence in general. That sometimes it's very difficult to really shift something because it's possible that you don't quite have the answer that you need. I'm talking to myself right now because I got some stuff going on right now and I'm just like, I've got to be missing out on something. So how do I, you know, find it? So I went to sleep and I ended up in the void space. Not unusual for me. I spend time in the void, things like that. It's very different than the cosmos. It's a whole thing, but I was in the void, okay? And as I was in the void, I was getting my awareness, you know, my body, things like that, and I was hovering, okay? Now, as I was hovering is when I kind of did start to see the cosmos to a certain extent. I'm like, oh, where am I going to, right? Because it's not just like a void space where it's completely, like the whole realm is void. My opinion is that probably the void is like you're actually like in a black hole, or in some part of a black hole. So at some point going through the void, you do hit a cosmos, whether it's this cosmos or another one. So anyways, I'm sitting in there and I'm just kind of like, okay. So I start to see the cosmos, and as I'm seeing that, I start to get the sense that I am not by myself, I'm not alone. And as I kind of tune into it more, there is a female figure that shows up on the left side of me, okay? Now, what I mean by how she shows up is like almost like we are two friends sitting on like this invisible mountain looking out at the cosmos, because now at this point I'm seeing the full moon. And it's like, you know, where you're sitting down and they are sitting next to you and you are both like pondering life. So I was not directly looking at her. She was on my left side, but I had a sense of her. That's what I would say. And what I would say about her is that she was not human, but she had a human type feel. Okay, a human type feel. So she was way bigger and more expanded. She was not in a female, you know, human body, but she had a female essence to her, and the energy of what she looked like had a resemblance of human features kind of personified. That's what I would say. But anyways, as she was coming next to me, there was this immediate remembrance of her. And what I would say is that this is the best way that I can describe it, okay? This is not, it's kind of difficult to describe. But in the best, like, human terms that I would say is that this was like a great aunt to me, like a great auntie to me. And this is like the type of auntie that is like your mom's sister, and like your mom is cool, but you know what I'm saying, she's your mom. Like there's this closeness that is a little bit more than a sister, but not quite an auntie, right? So there's the aunties that level with you, that are talking with you, speaking to you, like real cool. And there is definitely a layer of respect there, okay? So not like, you know what I'm saying, this is not your auntie that you're going to be like going to a party with. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not that type of vibe. But definitely y'all go out to eat dinner, you know, blah, 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 blah. Maybe a little bit of wine every now and then, but there's still a respect level there. A great auntie, okay? And why I say, like, it's difficult to describe in human terms is because at some level, we are very intricately woven into each other. And so the auntie positioning is in a sense of her expandedness, okay? In a sense of her expandedness where she is not channeling into a physical body. Right? So it's more of positional, if that makes sense. It's more positional. So it's like you channel from your mother, you come in from your mother, but this is another female energy that you didn't necessarily specifically come from, but the essence of her is also a part of your makeup, if that makes sense. So anyways, I immediately recognized her energy, but I forgot what she was called on Earth. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, wait, what's your name again? And she starts to spell it out for me. Now this is like telepathically, okay? Like not legitimately with a pen and paper. Telepathically, I start to see the letters as she's saying her name is Newt, like Newton. She literally gave me that reference. Like Newton. Okay, Newt. But she spelled out Neith. And she specifically said it is not pronounced Neath. It's Newt. Okay. So I'm like, okay, Newt, like Newton. And I was a little bit surprised that she knew who Newton was. I'm like, how do you know Newton? However, and I'm going to say this because after this interaction was like, it made sense because she explained it, but not with words and dialogue. It was more of like, I don't know how to describe, like a data package. And it was like something was like returned. And it was like, yeah, you are really channeled in and you're forgetting the overall connections. The overall connection is that we are all on planet Earth and in the, you know, vastness of the universe. It is like being in the same neighborhood. So a lot of these cosmic entities associated with the sky, associated with the cosmos, psychopomps, are intricately aware of everything going on the planet. That is a whole conversation when we get into the government and things like that. That is a whole other conversation. And I'm not separating it that they're unaware of the government. I'm saying I'm still trying to figure out who is on what side of these things because they are intricately woven into the reality and wars and things like that on the planet as well, to a certain extent. I'm not saying her specifically, though she does have an aspect and, you know, is known for also being a war goddess, okay? But I'm not going to speak on that aspect because I'm not exactly sure. We weren't talking about war. So anyways, as she was telling me that, we were looking out and I was like, okay, Newt. I had never heard of Newt. Now, just in the context of life, is there a possibility that I was looking at something from ancient Egypt and I saw her name and, you know, her name and what association she has to things, like I could have ran across it, of course. However, as far as what is active memory and like if I was reaching into this person, I had no clue who she was. But in this dream though, once her presence was around, I remembered her. And I'm just assuming that at whatever time we spent time together and we're getting to know each other, I feel like there was a different name that she was called by, that I would call her. So as we're talking and, you know, we're kind of just exchanging energies and things like that, she starts to bring up this child. And I'm like, yes, like, girl, he is sending me through the ringer, child, through the ringer. And what she begins to tell me is that he is connected to Set. Now, in this dream, I understood, and I feel like I've read this before, but I read this after the fact, because at that moment, I couldn't actually remember who Set was. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I had dreams of Halls of Amenti, and I talk about that and everything like that. But at the time that I had those dreams, I did not really look into it, because actually at the time that I had the dream, I did not know it was the Halls of Amenti. I saw the Black Cobra. I saw the halls. It had an Egyptian feel to it. You know, all of these things, but I was not actually aware that it was the Halls of Amenti at all. And I found that out later through other associations and then hallways and things like that. And so I was like, oh my gosh. Anyways, I didn't really look into it because actually initially when I had the dream, right, and I say that in that dream, it was like I was downloaded with information as far as there was an aspect of me that I did not have. So kind of like a soul retrieval. So as I got that piece back, there was like a data package that was like I was retrieving something that was like held in another space until I was ready for it. That's what I would say. And so with that, I had to pause for a second. Okay, so with that, Set is also, of course, a part of the Egyptian pantheon. So I'm going to tell you what she told me. Yeah, and this was very interesting. So what she said was that he is a part of our family as well. And when she said that, it was very specific that he had been adopted into the family, that he was not quote unquote originally a part of this part of the pantheon, which is very interesting, right? Because when I am talking about Net, Newt, I believe that they're dimensional aspects of each other. I think I said that already. Dimensional aspects of each other. And so Newt and Neat or Net, I believe personally is connected to Ennet, which is the Igbo goddess, in Nigeria. Personally, that is what I believe. Now, what I also was saying was that just because there are certain places that have, connected to these energies, to these entities, does not mean that they are solely only attached to that area, okay? So, of course, when we look at Newt, she is talked about mostly in Egypt. We know that there's a pre-dynastic Egypt. We know that there are certain connections to Aswan. We know that there's connections to Africa as a whole. That also does not negate, this is going to be like, it's going to probably seem random, but it's not. That also does not negate the fact that she could have had connections also in Wales and Nude with Northerns. That doesn't negate, especially when you're dealing with psychopomps, right? Like Hecate, I've heard people call her different things, but I think that her name is associated to Agate, personally. But also Heket, Hike, which is a whole nother thing, because hike has been used in a different way, but hike or Ike is magic in Africa. Not just like the typical, thought of magic, but the spirit, the essence, the Ka, your energy. And it is being able to send out your energy, an essence of yourself, into the astrals, which I believe is a counterpart to physicality. in order to help things move along. So it's sending out, in a sense, your subconscious, your unconscious, asking your oversoul to put things into place for you. Almost like in a fate or destiny, the fates type of aspect. And so anyways, I'm just saying that because Set, I believe, had more of a foundation in the Middle East. And then he was brought into this part of the pantheon. And that doesn't mean that at an earlier time period, way back when, that he wasn't a part of the family. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm using family as kind of like a collective term of just Africa and the energies that typically seem to have a foundation in Africa. It doesn't mean that at one point he wasn't a part of that. But as far as in the incarnation we know as Set, it seems like he was primarily situated in the Middle East and came into it. And so in that, it was very interesting. So it was like, obviously, that he was in some type of way adopted in, but that we should, adopted in, she was using that as kind of like a way to explain that his energy was different from ours. And if you know what I mean, especially if you have multiple children, or you know someone with multiple children, if you've dealt with multiple children, there's a way that generally children are at different states. They have different personalities and things like that. They're just generally more, rambunctious children. They come in different. And that is what she was explaining, that he came in different. He is a part of a different type of family. But he is our family as well. And I'm saying that because my dream prior about him also had a similar theme of that he was, like in a past life, he was someone that we adopted into our family. He was what considered to be orphaned or have been kicked out of a different place. And we had welcomed him into our family. And we also took him in as a son. And I'm using we here in a different context of we in the sense of this tribe that I was a part of. So yeah, it was extremely interesting. And I was just looking at like the UFO files and how they were talking about that there were certain ships that were reminiscent of 8-pointed stars. And I don't know if it was the energy they were giving off or something like that. But I saw that and I was like, oh, I wonder if there is a connection, because after she was telling me that, we were looking into the eclipse. Now, I believe that this eclipse, even though I was seeing it in July, was actually the eclipse around my birthday back in December 2019. And it was a solar annular eclipse, a ring of fire. And within that was a golden 8-pointed star. And she was like, this is the gateway and you should utilize this gateway. And I understood that it wasn't just the eclipse, it was also the 8-pointed star itself. And the best way that I can explain it was that it was like a boon. It was almost like a boon given to me. I don't know if given to me is the right word. It was almost like she was reminding me that I had access to this. Like, you do know that you can utilize this. Yeah, it was kind of more like that. And it was an 8-pointed star, like a kind of golden, but I feel like it was, I don't know if I would, it was almost golden in color, but I don't know if I would relate it specifically to gold. I don't know if that was necessarily the material of it. Yeah, I wish I knew metals like that, but for some reason, like I thought it was kind of like bronze or pewter, or I don't even know what pewter is, but or something about like the word pewter or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, But yeah, and that also connects to the Zodkiel dream, where Zodkiel was talking about the Ilu. And when I redo that, I'll talk about Baba Ilu, okay? Baba Ilu, which is Ele, which is L, right? And that is a part of angles, gel, L, which also I feel like connects to angels as well. Angles and angels. L, yeah. Yeah, so I thought that would be interesting to share. If you guys have had similar experiences, things like that, I would love to hear about it. Any questions, comment down below. If you feel like it could come up, just give me a playlist. Give me a playlist, DeeDee's playlist, DeeDee and me, synchronicities. Give me a playlist and then come back. Yeah, and you can email me, DeeDeewimley@gmail.com or acaciasascension@gmail.com. All right, friends. Bye.